This is the Louie T Network.
Look at Monday Night Football. Week 1, Philly, right off the bat. We got Philly at home. And I like getting road games in the division out of the way, except when you're on primetime. If I'm on primetime, I want to be at home. I want to on the spotlight. I want us to be in D.C. I want us to be comfortable. And so we're out of the gate, right away out of the box. Week 1, Philly. And that was scary for me because I said to myself before the schedule came out, I don't want to be the first team to face Philadelphia. Let someone else face them so we can kind of see what Chip Kelly has in store, so we can have some tape that we can study and kind of have an idea of what to expect from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we don't get such liberties. We got to be the test dummies. We got to be the team that he unveils all of his stuff on in week 1. So that makes me nervous because I don't know what the Eagles are. They're the wild card in this division this year. No one knows what the Eagles are. They are a huge mystery right now. And so week 1, home, Eagles, Monday Night Football scares me a little bit.
This is a brand new Eagles team with the worst thing you can give a team, hope. Remember when we were that hopeless team? And last year, we started winning games. And what was the one thing that we got that we didn't have before? Yeah, you could say confidence. But as fans, it was hope. We didn't have hope before. Now the Eagles are a dangerous team because they have hope. They believe that they can win. They believe that they're a good football team. They feel rejuvenated. We were once there. We were just there a season ago when we were revitalized, when we felt like we were that team. We got to smash these guys, and we got to keep them down. And, yeah, they're going to score some points. Yes, they're going to score some points. This is a up-tempo offense with a lot of very talented players on the offensive side of football. Their offensive line, not the same offensive line we saw last year. This offensive line is much improved. They're getting Peters back at left tackle. I love Lane Johnson at right tackle. Todd Harrimans is back at guard where he belongs. This is a very, very dangerous football team. LaShawn Shady McCoy, I talk about him all the time. This guy scares the hell out of me, more so than any other player in the National Football League, because he can make you look stupid. He can take it the distance. He can take a 2-yard dump off, take it into the end zone, turn it into a 67-yard touchdown. I mean, this guy is so electrifying. He makes guys miss out of space. And that's the one thing that you cannot account for in this league. The guy that can make someone flat out miss and tackle air in space. And LaShawn Shady McCoy does it consistently. Look at that Carolina Panthers preseason tape if you don't believe me. This guy is in rare form. He scares me. And so we've got to corral to the football. That's number 1. Stop the Eagles' running attack. Don't let LaShawn Shady McCoy dictate what we're able to do defensively in this game. Make the Eagles beat us through the air. And I know that sounds like a very damning statement because our pass defense wasn't that good last year and we don't know what the pass defense is going to look like this year. But I don't care. Make the Eagles commit to the passing game. That means we got to step up and get pressure. Arakpo, Kerrigan, Cofield, and company. If we're not getting to the quarterback, he's going to have time. And don't think for one second Michael Vick won't carve us up. So it's important that we stop the run, force Vick and that offense to be one-dimensional. Slow them down. Make some tackles. Don't allow this offense to get into the rhythm. The big key for us, can't self-destruct, cannot shoot ourselves in the foot. Robert Griffin III did a wonderful job last season of taking care of the football. Only 5 interceptions. We did not fumble a lot. We did not turn the football over. Alfred Morris was not a fumbler. He was a guy that protected the football. So we have to make sure we protect the football. Our receivers didn't put it on the floor last year either. So we have to make sure that we continue to take care of the football offensively. No penalties. We were a very penalized team, one of the worst penalized teams in the league last year offensively. But we were so explosive offensively, we were able to overcome that. That can't happen in this. That's the thing I'm looking for right off the bat is where his timing is, because you can practice all you want, but the game speed, you can't simulate that. When live bullets are being thrown your way, you got to be able to respond. And so I want to see how he's going to look when it's for real. There is no red jersey. Guys can touch you. They're going to hit you. He's going to be a target. How will he play? How will he respond? And I'm anxious to see if he's ready to go out and sling that football around, get it to our playmakers and allow them to make plays. And also, can he take care of the football? The one thing you get with Russ a lot of times is turnovers, missed timing with guys. You got a guy running a drag route, and normally you put that ball out in front of him, no problem. Okay, you're a little rusty, it's behind him, it tips off his hand, it's picked off. Or you got a guy running a 15-yard dig route. That's a square in. Okay. Normally, Robert hits that, no problem. Eyes closed, dart, straight to the receiver. Maybe, because he's a little off, that pass is slightly in front of him, slightly behind him, off the fingertips. Anytime something is tipped up, chances are it's going to get picked off. And so I want to see how this timing is.
The Redskins Report.
Welcome all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I'm your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. If you see me and I see you and you see me sitting here with the Redskins cap on, then you know this is the Redskins Report. Thank you for joining me. Wish we were meeting under better circumstances, but nonetheless, here to tell the story of what happened last night. So we took an L, the first of the 2013 NFL regular season. And you see me with the black cap on, when I'm donning the black and gold, you know we took an L. And we took a hard one on the chin, but it's okay. We're champions. And I got a couple of questions I want to pose before I get started here. And as you can see behind me, I've got the big board. I'm going to need the big board's help today because I've got a lot of things to go over. But got a few questions that I want to ask of anyone watching this video, Redskins fan or not. I just want some feedback here. Number one, and we'll start with a narrow focus and then we'll widen out the lens. But number one, at what point did you give up last night? And if you didn't give up, you're a soldier. At what point did you lose hope? When did that despair set in? When did you know tonight's not our night? At what point of the game was that for you? That's number one. Number two, what surprised you the most in this game? What was the one thing that surprised you watching this game as a whole? What surprised you the most? What jumped out at you as you watched this football game unfold in front of you? That's the second thing I want to know. Leave all your comments in the comment box below. I would love to hear your feedback. And my final question, and this is the big picture question, we're widening the lens now. Has your perception and expectations for the Redskins changed because of this one game? I will answer every single one of those questions at some point in this video. The last two, I will definitely answer them at the end of the video. The first question, you will know my answer by the time I probably get midway through this video. But my final question one more time. What, if any, expectations did you have for the Redskins before the season started? Have they changed? Have your outlook for this season for the Redskins changed after this first game? So please leave all comments at the bottom. I can't wait to read and respond to every single one of them. So 33-27 is the final score, even though that score is not indicative of what this game actually looked like for probably about 3 quarters. And let's just get into the game and what I saw. I took notes, and I want you to keep in mind with these notes that these notes all were taken as I was watching the game. And so as I'm reading the notes to you, keep in mind that I am jotting these notes as I'm watching the game. So if you hear something and it kind of sounds like I'm in the midst of watching a game, that's because I was when I took these notes. So let's go to the big board, and I had to whip out the handy dandy pointer because this is a big one. We got a lot of things to go over. As you can see, the board here has a lot of writing on it, and for good reason. There's a lot to get to, so I won't delay. Let's get right to the proceedings. And Eagles going fast. And look, we knew that coming into this game. They were going to go fast. If you watched any Oregon tape, you knew exactly what you were getting into. It's one thing to see it. It's another thing to actually experience it. So I knew that this was going to be hard to stop. And just like you saw in the intro, I had already forewarned all of us out there, all Redskins fans, that this was going to be a tough game. One that I thought we were still going to win, but nonetheless, I knew it was going to be tough. I encountered some Redskin fans, and I talked to some online, and some left messages at the bottom of some of the videos, especially the one that I did leading up to the game that said, hey, we're going to blow these guys out, man. And I said it in the video, and I said it in the intro. If you thought we were going to blow these guys out, if you didn't think this game was going to be close, you were smoking or drinking something, and I would love to have what you were smoking or drinking, because this game was going to be close. And if we were going to win, it wasn't going to be a blowout. And so the Eagles went fast. And they went down the field, 10 plays, less than 3 minutes to start out the game. And they even went for it on 4th down and got it. And so they were being aggressive. And Chip Kelly was going for the gusto right off the bat. And they picked up that 4th down conversion. And they really put the pressure on us early in this game. And you could tell he wanted to send a statement, because he wanted the toss and he wanted the football. I mean, that's an old school mentality. A lot of coaches these days want to defer to the second half, which I think is the smartest thing you can do. You know how I feel about deferring to the second half. So he played right into my hands, because that's the way I want it to be done anyway. I feel like if you get it after the half, you get a better feel for what needs to be done. If you're up 21-3 at the half and you get the ball, great. Let's try to add to that lead. But if you're down, like we were in this game, coming after the half, and you get the football, there's a chance for you to kind of rectify the problem and start getting on that comeback trail. And so I always feel like it's great to have the ball after the half, but it doesn't matter. He took the ball, they went down the field, they went for it on 4th down, they picked it up, and they were looking to score points right away. On the very next play after they pick up that 1st down, on 4th down, Wilson has a chance to pick off the pass. It goes straight through his hands after that 4th down conversion. And look, I'm huge on making plays when they are there to be made. And Josh Wilson had an opportunity to make a play, and he did not do so. And that's frustrating. I really like when guys take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. And I know Michael Vick doesn't throw a soft toss. I mean, I know he throws bullets. He throws darts out there. So it's not the easiest thing to come down with one of his passes. But at the end of the day, you get an opportunity to stop a drive and to really change the momentum of the game early on. Eagles had us back on our heels. You get a chance to pick that pass off, you got to do it. Vic threw it right to him, went through his hands, tipped off, went into the end zone. Ended up being an incomplete pass, but luckily enough for us, Ryan Kerrigan strikes again with a batted ball. Ball was a pass that was batted, that was thrown backwards, or at least it appeared to be. Officials saw it that way on the field, ruled it to be a backwards pass. It was batted, stayed in the field to play. D'Angelo Hall scoops it up, goes about 80 yards for a touchdown, and we're on the board first. They challenge it. It is upheld, and we're on the board 7-0 with a fluky type of play, but that's Ryan Kerrigan at his core, making a play, getting in the passing lanes, just being disruptive. I love Ryan Kerrigan. I said that in the preseason because this guy's a playmaker. It doesn't matter if he's batting down a ball, if he's getting to the quarterback, if he's in the passing lanes, he's being disruptive. Whatever it is, Ryan Kerrigan is being disruptive, and he did it on this play again, and it's his signature now. A guy just like J.J. Watt that's going to get his hands on the football if he's not getting to the quarterback. And so Kerrigan strikes again. We're up 7-0. Great start to the game, even though the Eagles had us on our heels. We'll take the points anyway. And so the Eagles get the football again. And the problem with scoring that touchdown was The defense was already gassed from the fast pace of this Eagles offense. We score a touchdown. That's great. Guess what? Defense has to come back on to the field. And the Eagles just went back to work again. And they went right down the field. And I noted missing a lot of tackles early. Defense tired. No pass rush at all. And you could see it quickly that they were wearing us out. And there wasn't any pass rush. We weren't trying to get to the quarterback. I don't know if they were told to stay in their rush lanes and not to let Vic out of the pocket. And remember, just like I said in the intro, one of the keys to the game, keeping Vic in the pocket. And it looked like that's what they wanted to do early on, but they weren't getting any pressure. And so he had time to survey the field, look to second and third options and reads, and he was going to find someone eventually if you're not going to get pressure. And it didn't help matters that LaShawn Shady McCoy was running the football, and guys were missing tackles. We were tackling air out there, and so it was very sloppy on our part early on. But I think David Emerson said it best after the game. When you're tired, you're more susceptible to making mistakes, essentially is what he said. And it's not just physical mistakes, it's mental mistakes as well. You get fatigued mentally when you're tired physically as well. And you could tell early on that this was going to be a long game, and I knew that going into it, but it was bad because we're only at the second possession and guys are sucking for wind. And I said, man, we're in trouble tonight. Good play by E.J. Biggers to break up a pass on third down. Chip Kelly wastes a challenge on that particular play. He thought his player might have caught the football. He did not. He used the challenge. And John Gruden and Mike Tirico were screaming pass interference. And just because someone breaks up a pass, jumping over someone doesn't mean it's pass interference. I thought that the officiating in this game was absolutely wonderful. I thought these officials allowed the game to be played out on the field. And we had a lot of penalties, but it was our own doing. Those penalties that we picked up were because we weren't disciplined. It wasn't because the officials weren't doing their job or they were calling a tight game. I thought these officials, for all the subjective calls, did a great job. There weren't a lot of pass interferences, a lot of legal contacts or anything like that. So I thought this game was pretty well officiated from that standpoint, and that was a good no call on that third down. So we were able to hold the Eagles to a field goal. It's 7-3. We're feeling good about ourselves. We get the football, and just like I said in the intro, we don't have anything to worry about. If we go out and execute like we did last season, not turn it over. We were very efficient offensively a season ago. Robert didn't throw interceptions. Alfred didn't fumble. Alfred puts it on the ground on the first play from scrimmage. Ouch. That one hurt. That one hurt my psyche a little bit because that was foreign to my eyes. I didn't know what I was seeing at that point. When that ball came squirting out and it bounced up and Michael Kendrick scooped it up, I had to do a double take. What? Did AM just put the ball on the ground? Yeah, he did. And it happens. It happens. But not on the first play. I just wasn't prepared for the offensive possession to be over when it just got started. Robert just got on the field. Everyone's anticipating his return, anxious to see what he's going to look like. And boom, just like that, offense back off the field, defense back on it. After the defense had just withstood probably about a good 20 plays in total in about a good 6-minute stretch, they're back on the field again. And what did you think was going to happen after that fumble, after the defense finally thought they were going to go over and get some oxygen, get a cup of Gatorade, and be able to talk about what they saw on the field and what adjustments they wanted to make? What did you think was going to happen when they had to come back on the field? Eagles strike immediately. Jackson TD, no pass rush whatsoever. What did you think was going to happen? And they were gassed. They were exhausted. You saw this one coming a mile away. Jackson had about 13 seconds to get to the back of the end zone. It was a busted coverage. Bakari Rambo did not help D'Angelo Hall out on that play like he was supposed to. And Deshaun Jackson walks to the back of the end zone wide open. Vic hits him like it's 7-on-7. It's now 10-7 in the football game. And more importantly, we're now starting to see this thing begin to unravel. Even though we just thought, okay, that's a separate incident. We didn't know what was to come, but that was a little bit of foreshadowing. That fumble by Alfred Morris. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. And so Eagles take the lead, 10-7. Defense is absolutely exhausted at this point. And the ensuing possession, Robert Griffin III throws an interception. 2 plays later, 3 plays later. And this interception, head scratcher. And again, I go back to one of the keys to the game, not beating yourself and us needing to take care of the football, needing to win the turnover battle. Here we are. We get the first turnover of the game and it looks good, and boom, we go right back and give up 2 turnovers on the first 2 possessions of the game. And I specifically said we did a great job of taking care of the football last year. Alfred Morris doesn't fumble. Robert Griffin III doesn't throw picks. Robert Griffin III doesn't throw picks. Robert Griffin III doesn't throw picks. Well, he just threw a pick into triple coverage. This one is inexcusable. And if I hear the word rust one more time, I'm going to go postal on somebody. I don't want to hear that garbage anymore. Sure, he's a little bit out of sorts. And I said that he was going to be a little bit off kilter when this game started because he hasn't played. And I told you in the video leading up to this game that he was going to have some issues, and I expected him to have some issues, but minor ones. And I said I wanted to see where his timing was. Well, his timing was off horribly in that first half, and this wasn't a timing issue here. This pick was into triple coverage. 2 safeties and a corner shading in front. Santana Moss did not stand a chance of catching this pass. I don't know what he was looking at after the game in the press conference. He said, hey, I thought I saw something that wasn't there. Really? Okay. If you say so. Hey, if you thought you saw something that wasn't there, then you thought you saw something that wasn't there. I know I saw 3 Eagles and 1 Redskin. And so, all in all, guess what that means, though? That poor, tired, exhausted defense that thought they were going to get a chance to put that oxygen mask on, get a little bit of air, and get to look at some pictures from above. No. Get your helmet, get back on the field, and let's try to stop this Eagles attack once again. And so, poor defense. We're not even out of the first quarter. We're not even halfway through the first quarter, and the defense is having to endure a 3rd possession. A 3rd possession. Wait a minute. So many turnovers, I've already forgotten. The 4th possession, because they got the ball first. Then we got the turnover, scored the touchdown. They came back on the field. They went down, got the field goal. Then we fumbled the football. They came back on the field, gave up a touchdown to Jackson. Now we threw an interception. Now they're back on the field again. I mean, what did you expect the defense to do? Kudos to our defense for not laying down and not allowing this game to get out of control right away in the first quarter, because this could have been a repeat of the Monday Night Massacre 3 years ago when Vic went postal on us and put up 50-something points and put up 35 in the first quarter. This could have easily turned into that because the offense was that bad in this game to start. But, after giving up a big run to McCoy, the D gets aggressive, huge possession by Perry Riley Jr. Perry Riley was playing out of his mind early in this game. Mr. Perry Riley Jr. was playing out of his mind early in this game. If not for Ryan Kerrigan, this score would have been 30-7 at the end of the first quarter. If not for those 2 guys. They were blitzing. They were getting to the quarterback. They were disrupting the timing of this offense that the Eagles were running. And if not for these guys getting to Vic, getting to the quarterback, knocking him on the ground, stopping the run, disrupting their offense, they probably score a couple of more touchdowns. But Perry Riley got a sack. He got a hurry of Vic, made him throw it away. Kerrigan gets a sack, and we'll get to that here in a second. They disrupted this Eagles offense, and it saved us. So we don't give up any points there. We get lucky. Eagles have to punt. Wow, they got to punt. Guess what? That allows us to see Chris Thompson, who was very impressive on special teams in the preseason. Can't wait. Let's see what Chris has for us. Chris Thompson fields a punt inside the 5. Wow, 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 wow. What are you doing? Come on, Chris. That's not even a rookie mistake. You don't do it. And inexcusable. That's one of the first lessons you learn when you field punts. I'm pretty sure they told you the same thing in college as well. You don't field punts inside the 10-yard line, especially the 5. Are you kidding me? So, before I move on, let me just get Chris Thompson out of the way as a whole. He was horrendous on special teams, period. Okay? Punt return, garbage. Kickoff, even worse. Okay? And I don't have any patience for bad field position. Okay? And that's what he was giving us all night. Okay? If I wanted a guy to run east and west, if I wanted a guy to run lateral, I'd have had Brandon Banks still on the roster, okay? We're not looking for a guy that's scared of contact. Look, it takes a special breed of player to run kicks back and to run punts back. Everyone's not cut out for that, okay? And I understand that. I know, okay? It's nothing like 10 guys running down the field at full speed trying to tear your head off as you're trying to navigate through traffic. It's very intimidating, and everyone can't do it. It's not suited for everyone. Viewer discretion is advised, okay? So if it's not for you, hey, just say so. I was always told, if you're scared, say you're scared, okay? I'm not going to think that you're any less of a man. You just can't do it. Fine. But if you're going to do this return thing, kickoff, punt, whatever it is, then you need to go up the field. You need to go north and south, not east and west. This going up the field, and as soon as somebody comes, you want to veer to the outside and try to get around. This isn't college, Holmes. You got to go straight up the field, find a seam and hit it. And even if it's not there, you'll get to the 20-yard line, not the 13, not the 5, like you were doing us all night long. So that's something you got to clean up, buddy. So very disappointed with Chris Thompson and the special teams unit in this game. So we started the 4-yard line because Chris Thompson thought it was okay to catch a punt and a fair catch at that at the 4-yard line. So we start basically at our own goal line. And on first down, guess what? This offense that is really out of sync, out of sorts, hasn't picked up a first down. Hell, we haven't even had positive yards yet in this game. First 2 possessions, both resulted in turnovers. So let's hope the third possession can bring us something. So the first play of this possession, drop by Darrell Young. Wow, 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 wow. Robert Griffin III said we had the case of the can't get rights. I guess so. Darrell Young drops a pass. That's not Darrell Young's MO. He does not drop passes, but he did on this particular play. So then guess what? Okay, it's 2nd and 10. We need to get some positive yards. So we decide to do a sweep, a toss sweep. Robert throws it too far, and he knows it because when he tosses it, I'm pretty sure if you watch the slow-mo replay, he jumps in the air as he tosses it like, let that one go a little too far. But guess what? Alfred Morris still should have caught the football. And he had time to pick it up. He panics, he drops it, he goes and dives on it. AM fumbles in the end zone for a safety off the bad pitch from Robert. And look, both of these guys were equally culpable for this safety. Robert didn't deliver the football within his frame, but it wasn't that far outside of Alfred's frame where he couldn't have brought that football in and got some positive yards. He just panicked, and I don't think he really looked the football in his hands. He just knew the football was out here. He reached for it. It didn't land where he thought it was going to land. He was looking to see where he could run. Your end result, 2 points given up. And not only is it 2 points and a safety, now the score is 12-7. Not only did we just give up 2 points, guess what that means? That tired, defenseless defense has to come back on the field for a 5th possession, and we're not even 2/3 the way out of the first quarter. Are you kidding me? And the defense has not let us down yet. Amazingly enough, they have 12 points, and you basically can credit 9 of those points to the offense because they fumble the ball, they get a touchdown on the next play, and now you're giving them a safety. So that's 9 points that really the defense, I won't even fault them for that. Unbelievable. So they get the free kick, and the defense is back on the field. Luckily enough for us, more Perry Riley Jr. Without Perry Riley Jr. early in this game, again, I don't know what would have become of this football game for the Washington Redskins. I don't know what we would have done early in this game because he was getting pressure. Jim Haslett turned him loose, and I don't know what was going on in the Eagles' protection scheme, but this guy was coming free, and he was locating and putting that crosshair on Vic, and he wasn't missing. He got pressure, getting to Vic. Emerson almost gets a pick. And Emerson talked about that after the game. He said, hey, it went off my fingertips. I really didn't get a chance to get my hands on it. If I would have, I'd have picked it up. He said, next time, though, I guarantee you I will get that pick. I love David Emerson. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's a reason why there's not a lot of passes thrown his way. This guy's playing some sticky coverage, and he's dangerous. He's not afraid to tackle. He's a ball hawk. He's always looking for the football. I love me some David Emerson. Finally, after the defense gets another stop, and this defense was remarkable early on. You listen to anybody else, and you let them tell you how bad the defense was. I'm singing the praises of this defense. For as bad as we played in this first quarter, the score should have been 26-7. Instead, we left the first quarter, the score was 12-7, and the defense hadn't really done anything wrong yet. So kudos to this defense for even keeping us in this football game because the offense was trying to give this football game away. So finally, a first down at the end of the first quarter, but the offense is out of sync and Robert is out of sorts. You could tell right away that this was going to be a long night offensively. I mean, he was not sharp. And I talked about the timing probably going to be an issue, and I was hoping I was wrong. I was hoping that he'd come in and he'd be sharp, the same Robert, same OG. I was hoping for the same old RG, but I was wrong, okay? He wasn't the same guy. He needs time to get out there and get the timing down because you can do all the 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. You can simulate all you like in practice. There's nothing like the real thing. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Ain't nothing like the real thing. Oh no. Ain't nothing like the real thing. You can't simulate game speed. You can try it all you want. There's nothing like the real thing. And we found that out last night. Simply put, he wasn't ready to go against live bullets yet. He needed a preseason game. And a buddy of mine told me what last night was for us was preseason game number 5. And you know what? Truer words have never been spoken. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked like preseason game number 5 because Alfred Morris really didn't play in the preseason. And I agree with Mike Shanahan. After giving him the football 330 times last season, he didn't need to play in the preseason, really. And so he really didn't play in the preseason. We know Robert didn't play in the preseason. And so these guys really had to shake off a lot of the kinks that they had going on. They really needed to work those things out. And so they chose to do it in his first game, and unfortunately for us, you don't get another opportunity. That's what the preseason is for. And you don't get the kinks out then, you don't get to do it in week 1. And so we paid for that. But offense was still stagnant. We had penalties, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But this offense just looked anemic in this game. We looked pedestrian on the offensive side of the football. Bakari Rambo was tackling early. Now, look, I'm going to defend Bakari Rambo, okay? I don't know what all these pundits are looking for from Bakari Rambo. He's a rookie safety that we drafted in the 6th round for a reason, okay? And let me stop everyone right now in your tracks. If you're going to go with the argument that the only reason he was around in the 6th round is because of his behavioral off the field issues and yada, 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 okay? Let me stop you right there. I'm going to put the brakes on you, okay? Because Tyrann Mathieu had more off the field issues than Bakari Rambo. Guess what round he went in? The 3rd. You know why he went in the 3rd round? Because he's ultra talented and he's a guy that's a playmaker. That's not Bakari Rambo. Bakari Rambo is a really good football player with the ability to be better. He's got a lot of the P word, potential. And if you get it out of him, he can be a Pro Bowl safety. But he's not a guy that comes into the league with that ability right away. Okay? And so for everyone that thinks this guy is just going to come in and be the second coming of Sean Taylor or LaRon Landry, you need to pump your brakes, okay? Because this guy has a lot of improving and a lot of work to do. But I was impressed with him early in this game. Thought he was solid tackling-wise. It got worse, though. Trust me. His tackling got worse as the game wore on. And again, this goes back to what David Amerson said. As you get more and more tired, as that fatigue starts to set in, you become more prone to mistakes, physically and mentally. We saw it with that Deshaun Jackson touchdown in the back of the end zone. Mental fatigue. He had a job to do, wasn't thinking, blown assignment, easy touchdown. That's what happens when you get tired. You get physically tired, and when the body quits, the mind quits. When the mind quits, the body quits. It's vice versa. It's a vicious cycle. And that's what this Eagles offense and the lack of offense that we had did to our defense. But Bakari Rambo, not going to sit here and allow guys to bash Bakari Rambo. I sat there and I watched Redskins post-game live, and I listened to, I forget what his name is, the big offensive lineman, and he was talking nonsense, talking about Bakari Rambo looked like he had never played the safety position before. He didn't play that bad, okay? He had his moments where he had some lapses and he made some mistakes. It's to be expected. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. There's going to be more to come, okay? All I ask is that he get better, continue to grow at that safety position. And guess what? When Brandon Merriweather comes back, he'll be even better for it. And guess what? It would help if we didn't take a corner, E.J. Biggers, and put him at safety too. That also helps. How about you just let Reed Doughty play? I would have been fine with that. E.J. Biggers is not a safety, and I'll talk about him a little bit later. Kerrigan notches a sack after the Eagles begin to drive, and it puts an end to their drive. He gets Vic. Vic tries to run away from him. Kerrigan corrals him and gets him down for about a 14-yard loss. And like I said, if not for Perry Riley Jr. and Ryan Kerrigan early in this game, I don't know. I really don't know. So we get the football back. Another lackluster drive followed by an Eagles touchdown, aided by D'Angelo Hall personal foul, which led to a Brent Selleck touchdown. Look, I didn't fault the defense at all. I didn't, because we put so much pressure on the defense in this game. Too much. And we got what we got because the offense wasn't helping out. And so that D'Angelo Hall penalty, though, boneheaded. And I knew what he was trying to do. He was simply trying to get in the head of Deshaun Jackson because he was eating us alive. I mean, the guy had 7 catches for 104 yards and a touchdown or two before halftime. I mean, he was absolutely killing us. Every single one of the Eagles' main players, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, and Vic all had over 100 yards before halftime. So we were getting it from all angles. And again, the defense was put in a precarious situation, and they rose to the occasion as many times as they could. But look, you put this defense on the field, any defense, I don't care what defense it is. I don't care if this was the 49ers. I don't care if this was the 85 Bears. You continuously put a defense on the field like we did in this game. There's no offense being sustained. You're turning the football over. I'm talking about the first play of the possession, you're turning it over and putting the defense back on the field. It's not to say that you get a 7-play drive and then you turn it over. We weren't even sustaining drives. We weren't even picking up first downs. And we were going 3 and out. We were going 1 and out. We were going 2 and out. And you put the defense back on the field that many times, they're going to give up points eventually. And so that touchdown made it 19-7. And the sad part about the score was the 7 points that we had didn't even come from the offense. It came from the defense. So it just was all bad offensively. So we get the football back, and of course, we do nothing, okay? So we got a punt. Sav Rocca with a horrendous punt. And that came after another 3 and out on another pathetic drive by our Washington Redskins. And so Eagles are in prime field position, and guess who has to come back on the field again? You guessed it. I don't have to tell you. And so the Eagles absolutely obliterated us on this possession now. I mean, they really smelt blood in the water, and they knew that we were absolutely gassed. I mean, we had nothing left in the tank. You know how the light comes on when the needle gets to a quarter of a tank to tell you, hey, you need more gas? Well, we were past that quarter. We were going towards that E line. We were almost at that E line at that point, and the Eagles knew it. They smelled blood in the water, and they started running the football. Eagles pound us into the ground. Vic runs it in from about the 6-yard line after Shady McCoy and Bryce Brown absolutely pummel us all the way down the field. And Vic sprinkles in a run or two here and there, and he caps off the drive with a read option fake. We bite on it, and I talked about a rat pole all preseason long, needing to stay at home. Well, he didn't stay at home in this game, and I told you we would pay for it if we went against a quarterback, the likes of Michael Vick or Colin Kaepernick or someone like that. Well, we had Vick in week 1. A rat pole didn't stay home. Your end result, we gave up some big runs on the backside to the quarterback in this game. And this was one of them. Vic walks into the end zone, essentially. It's 26-7 now, going into the half. And at this point, the penalties are killing us. I mean, this was comical at the end of the first quarter, or excuse me, the end of the first half. This was comical. And I felt the same way, though. I felt like this is a nightmarish first half. I just want it to be over. And Mike Shanahan felt the same way. We started picking up penalties, it seemed like, on purpose, so that we could run out the clock. They asked us, hey, do you want to take the 10-second runoff, or do you want to use a timeout? And Mike Shanahan said, hey, run those 10 seconds off, please. Run them off. And it's like we just kept committing penalties on purpose so that they could run off 10 seconds so that the Eagles couldn't get the football back with 3 timeouts and about 30 seconds left, because they probably would have went down and scored again. That's how bad it was in the first half. And so we were just atrocious in that first half. I mean, any adjective you could use to describe bad, that's what we were. I mean, we were a monstrosity. And I said, and this whole time I had hope. Even when they scored 26, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do, fellas. You know, I had a powwow with myself. And I said, okay, fellas, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this football, and we're going to drive down the field, and we're going to get something. Field goal, touchdown, something. Anything, all right? You get this, and guess what? We get the ball after the half. Let's build on this. Let's get some momentum going into halftime. Come out, get a touchdown after the half. We're right back in this football game. The defense isn't playing that bad, and they would have had a chance to catch their breath. That's what I said. But we went into the half just as bad as we started it. And we come out of the half just as bad as we left it. And Robert throws a pass out to the right sideline. Out to the left sideline. Flat as pavement that has just been steamrolled. Flat. This pass is flat like a flat line. pass had no zip on it. None. And there's a rule, there's a saying that I have on passes outside the hashes, whether it's the far outside hash or the one closest to you, it doesn't matter. If you throw a pass and it has no zip and you let it rip, usually it's a pick six. And we got lucky that he had to dive for it. But Kerry Williams makes a good play on a flat pass, had nothing on it. Absolutely zero on this pass. Picks it off, and of course, hi, my name is what? Your name is who? My name is Mr. Shady McCoy. Hit us again. And I actually had to laugh at this one. This one was funny because I talked about it at the top of the show. I've talked about this ad nauseum numerous times. I always say, I am afraid, I am terrified, I am mortified of Shady McCoy. And this is why. He gets the football, cuts up a hole, makes two guys miss, jumps over E.J. Biggers. What the hell is E.J. Biggers doing at safety anyway? What is he doing there? E.J. Biggers is not a safety. He can't tackle. What is he doing there? And off to the races he goes. He's dancing at the 7-yard line. Hey, hey, hey. Touchdown. 33-7. Have you given up yet? Huh? I didn't give up yet. Not yet. I'll tell you when I started to lose hope. Not yet. But damn it, I was close. I was close. But not yet. Not yet. I said, man, all I could do was laugh at this point because Shady was acting up now. He was acting up. So all I could do was laugh. But I said, I still got hope. We're going to turn this thing around. I don't know if we're going to win the game. I don't know if being down by 26, I don't know if we're going to win the game, but we're going to make it competitive. We're not giving up a 40 burger. We're not going to be embarrassed. We're not losing this game 40-10. We're going to make this respectable. Okay? We go down, we put together somewhat of a drive, if you want to call it that. We get in the field goal range. It stalls out. Penalties again. So we send Kai Forbath. My guy, Kai. You know how I feel about Kai. My guy. We send Kai on the field. And I said, if nothing else, I know I can count on Kai. And Kai pushes it right. And this is the point. This is the point when I reach my threshold and I said, man, when it rains, it pours. And tonight, it is a monsoon here in D.C. I don't know if we're going to be able to do anything tonight. That's when I finally, I didn't wave the white flag, but I picked it up and I thought about waving it at that point. That's when the first thought of giving up creeped and seeped into my mind. If Kai can't make a field goal, we can't do anything tonight. And that's when I really said, man, this is it. We're not going to do anything. We're not even going to put up a fight tonight. That's when it started to seep into my mind. And that's when I stopped taking notes because I thought it was done. I thought we were done. And then the Eagles took their foot off the gas pedal. Thankful. And I'm very gracious of the Eagles for that. I am very thankful that you decided that 33 was enough. Enough was enough. You didn't want anybody to get hurt. You didn't need to run the score up anymore. I'm very appreciative of that. All right, but a little word of advice to you, Eagles. If you ever get anybody down, including us again like that, don't take your foot off the gas pedal because I have no sympathy for you. All right, if you would have lost that game, I would have laughed in your face. And I wouldn't have wanted to hear any excuses. So don't do me any favors. You got a man down, step on his throat. And you had your foot on our throat. You had some kind of empathy for us. I don't know why. And you took your foot off the pedal. Don't do that again. But you did it in this game, and I thank you for it. And we started to mount a little comeback. We went down. We finally got a couple of first downs. We got a little bit of confidence. Alfred Morris runs in a touchdown. We get a fumble that we force. Boom. And just like that, we score another touchdown. It's 21 now. Now we got ourselves a little bit of ball game. So now the Eagles have to rev it back up. But now it's too late. Defense is locked in. They can't sustain a drive. We get the football back. And now, hey, wait a minute. We're talking about 12 minutes or so left in the fourth quarter. We got the football with the chance to do something. Hey, wait a minute now. So I never waved the white flag. I was close, but hey, we could do something here. I was talking to my sister. She's a Cowboys fan, and she texted me, and she was making fun of me and laughing at me. And after we scored the first touchdown, I said, hey, we could come back. And she said, no, you can't. And I said, hey, it's only 19 points, right? And I was being a little facetious, but why not us? You know, I felt like the Burger King commercial. Hey, it could happen. So we get back into the game, and I'm like, hey, maybe this could happen. Maybe we could have a Monday night miracle on our hands. And we go down the field, and we get in striking distance, and then we bog down. And now it's 4th down, and we're going to go for it. It's 4th and 10. And then Trent Williams jumps, false start, and what can you do? It was that type of night. What can you do? I mean, that was our last-ditch hope right there, because by not scoring there, you allowed the Eagles to get the football back, eat up some precious time, then they punt. And it's not like we were getting big chunks in this game. We were nickel and diming it. 9 here, 11 there, 13, 7, 6, 8. We weren't getting 24, 32 like we were last year when we were gashing teams. That wasn't what we were doing in this game. So, got the football back. We're able to do a little something, but we got in the end zone. It came down to an onside kick, but the chances of getting one of those back, slim to none. Now, we had a glimmer of hope. Jason Avant bobbled the ball, and it was on the ground. I'm glad we didn't get it, though, because Aldrick Robinson was way off sides. And if we would have recovered that fumble, and I would have found out that he was off sides, I would have wanted to strangle Aldrick Robinson. So it was a good thing that we didn't come up with that football anyway. So that was the end of that. 27-33. We go down. We put up a valiant effort. And I'm proud of the guys for not packing it in. And to answer one of the questions that I asked at the beginning of this video, and I think I asked them in this order, when did you give up hope? I told you after that Kai Forbath miss, that was basically it for me as far as thinking we had a shot in this game. I think my next question to you was, what surprised you the most in this game? And for me, I talked about it in the preview for this game, that our offense was going to dominate this Philadelphia Eagles defense. And I couldn't have been further from the truth. And to me, it wasn't Robert Griffin III being off. It wasn't the turnovers. That was surprising to me. What was so surprising to me was the fact that we were inept on offense. We didn't have focus. We lacked discipline, turnovers, penalties, errant throws, guys dropping the football, lack of focus, lack of concentration. These were all things that during that 7-game winning streak at the end of last season didn't exist on this football team. And we didn't run the ball effectively. That is what surprised me. How well the Philly defense, I can't just put this all on us. Philly actually played some good defense. They were blitzing us. And I'm going to tell you what they did. And this was genius on their part. They looked at Robert Griffin III and they said, he's not the same guy from last year. He can't run. They're not going to run read option. And you know what they said? He's going to have to beat us with his arm. He can't run. He doesn't want to run. They don't want him to run. He's going to stay in the pocket. And guess what? We're coming after him because we know where to find this guy. We don't have to worry about him handing the ball off and pulling it out and taking off. If he sticks that ball out there, it's either play action fake to throw it or he's giving it up to Alfred Morris or Roy Halou Jr. But he's not running anywhere. And so they blitzed us to death. I mean, they blitzed that A-gap until we were vomiting A-gap blitzes. And kudos to the Eagles for absolutely selling out and coming after us with no remorse. They didn't care that he was injured. They wanted to get some of Robert Griffin III, and they were coming from start to finish. And the Eagles forced the issue, and we couldn't do anything about it. And so I was surprised that the Eagles defense played that well, and we played that poorly on offense. That's what surprised me in this game. And my last question, does this change the outlook of the season for you? For me, I can tell you, this doesn't change anything for me. We're still a good football team, and the fact that we hung in this game, even though we played pathetic in this game and only lost by 6, showed me a lot. Showed me the heart of a champion. And I know these guys are grown men and they get paid and they're not supposed to quit. But I've seen Redskins teams tank it in games like this. That Monday Night Massacre 3 years ago, we quit in that game. The Swinging Gate game with the Giants, we quit in that game. The Kansas City Chiefs 2 years ago when we sucked, when we hit rock bottom when Jim Zorn was the coach 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever it was, we quit in that game. I watched this Redskins team quit before. We didn't do that. There was no quit in this team. I'm proud of the boys last night because even though the defense was being let down by the offense, they gave it everything they had. Even when that gauge said E and the gauge was starting to go past, that needle was starting to go past the E, they still were giving it everything they had. And so I was proud of the fellas last night. They showed the heart of a champion. And I know what this team can do. And I saw what this team can be. And nothing's changed. And the way I look at it, if you're a champion, you're going to get hit in the jaw. You're going to get rocked. Do you have a glass jaw or do you have an ironclad jaw? Can you take that punch, shake it off, don't go down, shake it off. If you got to stay on the ropes and rope-a-dope a little bit, do it. But don't go down on the canvas and not get up. Roy Jones Jr. was a hell of a champion until he got touched. Until he got reached out and touched on that chin. And we found out that that chin was glass. Then he wasn't all that great of a champion anymore. The key is not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. And last year, we got knocked down 6 times before we got up and refused to go down. And so this is one time that we got knocked down. Okay, we got hit with a very heavy right hand. Mike Tyson-like. However, we're Buster Douglas. And Buster got hit with a hell of an uppercut. I don't know if you know that. Buster got hit with one of those super knockout uppercuts. Super punch out. Remember punch out? He got hit with one of those. Chin went like this, but he didn't go down. And we're not going down. This is going to make our journey a lot harder because I'm pretty sure all of you out there like myself had this game as a win. It's not. And now we're going to Lambeau. I don't expect to win that game. And I'll talk about that game in the next time we meet. But I don't expect to win that game. And I hope Ryan Kerrigan is okay because we're going to need him. We need him to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. But that's for another day. We'll talk about that when it gets here. But I'm here to tell you that my stance on my Redskins have not changed. We are still going to win this division. And so, that being said, I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskin spirit will never die. My Redskin spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to the Redskins. I will see you on Friday when we break down the Week 2 matchup on the road at Lambeau versus the Green Bay Packers. Have a good one. See you on Friday.
The Redskins Report.